Bonjour Yannick, bonjour à tous. Merci, vous pouvez rejoindre nous pour cette séance de la PNQ. À mes côtés, Nawaz Nombux, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Le National Certificate of Education est l'Extended Programme au cœur de la PNQ du leader de l'opposition à l'Assemblée nationale ce matin. Nawaz Nombux, Xavier Duval questionne ministre de l'Éducation Lila Davidoukan-Lutchman. L'IPD Manli, est-ce qu'il pour abandonne Extended Programme et remplace-li par un programme d'études qui est plus pertinent, qui est plus approprié, qui peut examiner au bout de 3 ans à travers l'examen et d'un certificat NCE technique. Xavier Duval peut aussi demander à ministre de l'Éducation pour donner le nombre de candidats dans Extended Stream, qui fait l'examen NCE l'année dernière et qui finit récomposé ça l'année-là et qui finit passé.
Oui, donc taux de réussite très très faible pour le Extended Programme. Et là, quand le résultat de NCE finit tomber vendredi précis là, nous trouvons qu'il y a à peu près 8% de bons élèves seulement qui finissent passer. Donc la grande majorité finit échouer au Extended Programme. Les bons rappels, ben auditeur, qui Extended Programme lit destiné à enfants qui pas fin réussi à l'examen de PESAC. Alors, je vais faire 4 ans de Extended Programme et là, je compose NCE après 4 ans. Contrairement à des enfants mainstream qui passent PESAC, je vais faire grade 7, grade 8 et grade 9 et à la fin de grade 9, je compose un examen national qui s'appelle NCE. C'est qui dans Extended Programme, je vais faire 4 ans. C'est pour ça que les autres grade 9 plus et je te compose à l'examen après 4 ans, mais c'est même l'examen, même niveau qui je te composé. C'est pour ça que vous trouvez qu'il y en a beaucoup qui échouent. Et là, semaine passée, le ministère de l'Éducation fait une vidéo avec le Brighter Programme. Ça lui concerne les élèves qui n'ont pas réussi dans l'examen NCE. Et bien sûr, c'est qui dans Extended Programme qui n'ont pas réussi. Je parle dans Brighter Programme. Brighter Programme, c'est un programme 1 an qui donne un encadrement psychologique, donne confiance, goût à la vie, et après, je t'ai intégré la filière polytechnique, que je t'ai faire plomberie électrique et les autres métiers, je t'ai apprendre métiers. Donc, ça, c'est un petit peu la transition entre Extended Programme et donc la filière polytechnique.
Alors, nous vous prenons tout de suite la direction de l'Assemblée nationale pour suivre cette PNQ de Xavier Duval adressée à la ministre de l'Éducation, Lila Davidoukan-Lutchman.
I have informed the House that Honorable Shakil Mohammed, who had given notice of a motion of disallowance on Monday, 27 November 2023, chose to report the matter to the press whilst the matter was being considered by my office. In an article which appeared in an edition of Le Mauricien dated Friday 1st December 2023, under the caption SIM cards, motion of disallowance déposé, the honourable member is reported to have stated inter alia that he deplored the fact that the office of the Speaker did not reply to him at Thursday afternoon. In fact, Honourable Shakil Mohammed had given notice of the following motion. This Assembly resolves that Government Notice number 93 of 2023, more specifically with respect to Clause 4, Clause 7, Clause 8, and Clause 10, and all related clauses that contravene the rationale in the Supreme Court judgment of Mahadeo versus the state be disallowed. I wish to draw the attention of the House that Section 23 of the Interpretation and General Clauses Act, IGCA, stipulates that a subsidiary enactment may be disallowed by the Assembly on motion made to that effect by resolution passed within 30 days after the subsidiary enactment is laid before the Assembly. In the case at hand, I wish to point out that Government Notice number 93 of 2023, the Information and Communication Technologies Registration of SIM Regulations 2023, was laid on the table of the National Assembly on the 4th July 2023. On 21st July 2023, the Assembly was adjourned to 17 October 2023. For the purposes of computation of the 30 days as prescribed in Section 23 of the IGCA, the provisions of Section 38(1)(a) and D of the IGCA, and taking into account the fact that the Assembly was adjourned on Friday, 21st July 2023, the provisions of Section 122B of the Constitution were also resorted to in reckoning the period of 30 days. Honourable members, based on the above legal premise, the delay of 30 days within which Government Notice number 93 of 2023 could be disallowed by the Assembly had expired on Monday, 30th October 2023. In the light of the aforesaid, I rule that the notice of motion of disallowance of Honourable Shakil Mohammed is time-barred and cannot be entertained, and therefore disallowed. Thank you. With regard to the second statement, the second announcement, I'll make it later during the day.
Those papers have been laid. Questions?
Mr. Speaker, my question is addressed to the Honourable Vice Prime Minister, Minister of Education, Tertiary Education, Science and Technology, whether following the results of the 2023 National Certificate of Examination, NCE, for the extended stream, she will state, A, if this program will be scrapped and replaced by a more relevant curriculum to be examined at the end of 3 years by way of NCE technical examination certificate, and B, the number of recent candidates from the extended stream who had originally failed last year's NCE exams and who have now succeeded in the said examinations.
Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me at the very outset to thank the Honourable Leader of the Opposition for this PNQ, since it gives me the opportunity to clear the air about a number of misconceptions that have unfortunately clouded a sound understanding of the extended programme. Mr. Speaker, sir, I will be brief in going through the route of the extended programme. This programme had been clearly announced and enunciated in the policy document Inspiring Every Child that my ministry came up with in the early stages of the education reform agenda. It is inextricably linked to the 9-year continuous basic education introduced in line with our commitment to the UN Sustainable Development Goals, more specifically Goal 4 on education. Indeed, we have committed ourselves to achieve the targets of Education 2030, one of which is to ensure the provision of 12 years of free publicly funded, equitable, quality, primary and secondary education, of which at least 9 years are compulsory, leading to relevant learning outcomes. What does this convey as message? Simply that all of our children must complete 9 years of quality basic education seamlessly and have the foundational skills and the right attitudes for upper secondary schooling. Mr. Speaker, sir, I'd like to insist on the foundational aspect. We all know that our learners need a solid base on which to construct their future learning. A school should therefore be the engine room for establishing a strong foundation for today's learners to be future ready, particularly so in a world that is increasingly seen as volatile and complex. But there is always one reality in education that we have to contend with. Not all students have the same learning pace. It is then imperative to create differentiated pathways such that the system can respond to the specific needs, talents, and strengths of individual students as they progress through their learning journey. It is this philosophy, Mr. Speaker, sir, that lies at the heart of the extended programme that government introduced in 2018. As part of the inclusion drive, a central pillar of the reform agenda, along with equity and quality, it is absolutely imperative to cater for students who do not attain the required level of competencies at the PISAC assessment. Rolling out the program meant that every secondary school, state and private grant-aided, has at least one class of extended program. A new pedagogy is advocated, with small class size, addressing the readiness, the learning difficulties, the ability level, and the learning pace of the students. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Honourable Leader of the Opposition seems to be bent on condemning the entire program. To do so, he is simply looking at the percentage of results at EP and NCE assessment. But this is an erroneous scrutiny, as we are dealing with learners who are not mere numbers, Mr. Speaker, sir. Yes, 71 of the learners following EP last year had been eligible to join the regular program in grade 10. In 2022, while this year, 192 have met the criteria for the NCE. What these figures do not reveal, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that we have 238 students of the extended program who have met the criteria for promotion to grade 10 next year, and these students will be pursuing their studies up to grade 11 and take the school certificate. Some would tend to disparagingly add the word only to minify the achievement. I would rather see something else. These young learners have been able to create their own counter-narratives. And I see this as a major positive, Mr. Speaker, sir. Had it not been for the extended program, the system would have lost them, depriving them of the possibility to pursue their schooling. Mr. Speaker, sir, we at the level of the ministry believe in these learners and in their potential and their ability to succeed if given the right support. Thinking otherwise would be casting aspersion on educators who have gone out of the way, who worked hard to fashion successful learners, particularly when these had previously not made the grade at PSAC level. And what about the parents who stood by the side of their children, believing in them, encouraging them, propping up their morale and boosting their self-esteem? Monsieur le Président, la confiance en soi reste primordiale. I, for one, believe that we should refrain from developing a negativity bias, but should rather congratulate these students along with the educators for their efforts. Agreed, many may not have fared very well in one or more of the core subjects, like English, French, and maths, but the performance has been remarkable in some other subjects. An analysis of the results subject-wise for the 2022 EPNC and this year's edition shows a marked and clear improvement in most of the subjects. Mr. Speaker, sir, the performance of students in social and modern studies, in ICT, technology studies, exhibits the highest percentage of increase, suggesting notable advancements in these subjects. 75% of students have passed art and design. 66.8% of the students of EP have passed ICT. And in subjects like English, maths, science, ICT, business, and modern studies, substantial improvement in performance have been noted. Mr. Speaker, sir, the number of students scoring passing in English has been of 25% and of 20% in maths. But in science, the EP students, 36.7% have passed. 46.9% have passed in technology studies. We need to remember, Mr. Speaker, sir, that building self-esteem is a gradual process, and consistent support from educators, peers, family members, and the community can make a significant difference in helping students develop the confidence in their abilities. Recognizing and appreciating the efforts of students is crucial for their well-being and motivation. Undermining their efforts can indeed have a negative impact on their confiance en soi and confidence. And this is the recipe to undermine teachers in the fulfillment of their noble tasks. Besides, that's the crux of the matter. Their forte may not lie in their academic results, but consider for a moment the gains they have secured in terms of grooming received, life skills, gains in terms of healthy living, as well as psychosocial support. In terms of knowledge, Mr. Speaker, sir, they have gained knowledge. I will also not make an abstraction, Mr. Speaker, sir, of the nudge provided by the Fortified Learning Environment Program. This program is meant to better support learners from disadvantaged backgrounds, thereby seeking to nix, counteract, and mitigate the negative impact of poverty and other adversities on educational outcomes. Pedagogically, it also works on a small group pull-out system by FLE EP tutors who have received necessary professional development by the MI. Mr. Speaker, sir, I would also wish to thank the Honourable Leader of Opposition for giving me the opportunity through this PNQ to dial down another cliché that has gained concurrency in some quarters. À force de marteler une idée, on finit hélas par l'intérioriser, Monsieur le Président. Et we have seen people keep on saying that these students cannot even read or write. But when we look at the results, we realize that the belief that the large majority of students of EP, in fact, do work hard and do succeed. It's a fallacy to say that they can't read or write. Of course, I do not deny that some students do have some literacy and numeracy issues, but if the students can score well in other subjects, why should they not be able to do equally well in maths and languages? It's all a question of providing the right support to them. Mr. Speaker, sir, the mode of assessment of extended program is being reviewed so as to integrate the school-based assessment component. Allow me to briefly expatiate on this new type of assessment being introduced. A committee set up at the level of my ministry to monitor the extended program has recommended that a school-based assessment component be introduced in the evaluation structure for EP. The National Certificate for Education Assessment for EP will thus take on board a school-based assessment alongside the written paper as from academic year 2024. This new assessment mode, Mr. Speaker, sir, will allow EP students to take part in school-based evaluations, which will thus contribute to their grades in NCE certification. The SBA will carry a weighting of 40% with 60% for the written paper. The students of EP will undergo continuous school-based assessment, which will be monitored by the Mauritius Examination Syndicate. Successful students will be awarded the certificate under the appellation NCE EP, allowing either the promotion to grade 10 or their transition to vocational training. This measure was unanimously endorsed and lauded by educators. Mr. Speaker, sir, the new assessment mode has already been approved by government. It will be recognized that the current cohorts of EP students had not had the benefit of the early support program initiated 5 years ago in the primary subsector. This takes the shape of a special coaching during school hours for pupils requiring additional support through differentiated pedagogies for remediation by trained support teachers. Certainly, the outcomes would be visible in the near future. But in the interim, there is a host of measures being taken and resorted to provide EP students with adequate support in their studies. The resort to FLE Fortified Learning Environment tutors, the increase in the number of facilitators, and right now, Mr. Speaker, sir, the ministry has come up with a brighter program. My ministry, in collaboration with the MITD, the NCE, and the Mauritius Sports Council, is introducing a program to students who have sat for but have not been awarded the National Certificate of Education. This will take effect as from 2024. It will provide for life skills preparation for responsible citizenship, outdoor education, and sports, and it will lead to the world of work through the NCE certificate and will lead to the national certificate level 3 and the apprenticeship program. And this, Mr. Speaker, sir, will be the right time for them to join technical training. While academic achievement is an important aspect and the true goal of education goes far beyond grades and examination, it is about equipping children and learners with skills, knowledge, values, and a mindset that will prepare them for a successful and fulfilling future. Herein lies a key element that contributes to making children future ready. Mr. Speaker, sir, it goes without saying that a well-rounded education goes beyond the award of a certificate. It is, in fact, about equipping our learners with tools, values, and skills necessary for them to thrive and contribute positively to society. Thus, Mr. Speaker, sir, we have absolutely no intention of doing away with the present system. In fact, we firmly believe that children after their primary schooling should not be challenged to technical education or vocational program at the age of 10 or 11, Mr. Speaker, sir. They should complete their basic education, which gives the foundational skills to embark on such programs. It is a sine qua non for them to complete the cycle of basic education before they move on to technical training. These learners go through the proper formal education. They have to go through the proper formal education before going for training, technical training, and this is very much in line with what UNESCO, the World Bank, and other international agencies advocate. Mr. Speaker, sir, may I remind the House that technical education today has significantly evolved. It is a technology-based technical education, and students need to have a good grounding in literacy, numeracy, and science, as well as other subjects, before embarking on such programs. Mr. Speaker, sir, coming to part B of the question, with respect to the number of recit candidates from grade 9+, there were 335 students who had sat for the exams again, and I am informed that 54 candidates have succeeded the NCE. 54. Monsieur le Président, ces enfants n'avaient pas pu avoir le niveau en grade 6, mais ils ont quand même réussi en grade 9+. Je ne doute pas de la bonne foi de l'honorable leader de l'opposition, mais il nous faut faire preuve de patience. Il faut faire de sorte à ne pas briser la confiance en soi de ces jeunes. Il faut croire en eux. Et c'est bien pour cela qu'on ne peut scrap the extended program. Nous insistons sur le contraire. Ils ont le potentiel et avec l'encadrement voulu, ils réussiront. Et il nous faut leur donner le temps, Monsieur le Président. Merci.
Mr. Speaker, I understand well. Only 138 children from the cohort 2019 have passed the 2023 examination. You said yourself there were 192, of which 54 are resits. So from the 2019 cohort, only one, it's arithmetic, eh? It's 138. Now, my question is, Mr. Speaker, is this. The basis for the extended program and for 9-year schooling was this: no child left behind. Now, in the 2018 and 2019 cohorts, including the resits, 6,477 children originally joined. 6,214 have failed. 260, including the resits, have passed. This is why, Mr. Speaker, we are saying it is not the children who have failed. It is the system that has failed them. It is inappropriate. The system is vastly inappropriate for these children.
Mr. Speaker, sir, may I just underline one thing? We have just stated that our aim is to ensure that all children do get the opportunity to get the 9 years of continuous basic education, that is, to get the foundation for them to build on their future learning. And talking about figures, if you're going to tell us so many students entered the system and so many failed, I'm going to say that we have given the opportunity for all these students to carry on with their schooling, to get the opportunity to sit in school for 9 years and to learn, to develop their abilities, their skills, and to ensure that they get the knowledge required for them to be able to carry on with their future training. We are not simply talking about certification, Mr. Speaker, sir. What are they proposing? That we take children of 10 or 11 years and ask them to go for technical training? And what type of technical training? I've just stated that today when we talk about technical training, we are talking about technology-based technical training. When you send someone to study plumbing, you will have this child, this learner has to have a good grounding of science, should be able to figure out what pressure difference can do. So many different concepts have to be acquired before launching, before embarking on such training. We are not talking about al faire une petite affaire, ou al battre un petit peu, ou al faire un peu de jardinage. No. We want our young students, our young learners, to come out of the system, to learn about new agri-tech, to learn about new technology, to be able to act at another level. When we look at the construction industry, when we look at the various other spheres of life, things have changed. Technology has pervaded all spheres of life, and we need to ensure that all our children, all our learners, do get the opportunity to enter the world of work, and we need to make them future ready. The Honourable Leader of the Opposition will be aware. The OECD are saying today, the people there, the experts are saying, that the jobs of tomorrow have not been created yet, that 80% of the jobs of tomorrow do not exist yet. So how do we prepare our young people? How do we prepare our learners? We train them, we give them the skills, we give them the right knowledge for them to be able to cope later on. They have to adapt to the evolving world. And this is what we are trying to do, Mr. Speaker, sir. The extended program will have to give it time. And I've just stated, these students sitting for the extended program today did not receive any additional support when they were in the primary sector. When we came in 2014, we have recruited massively support teachers, holistic teachers, in large numbers, to ensure that children in primary are properly supported. That they not only develop their academic knowledge, they have other support.
Isn't that normal? Is a minister just going to use it as a platform to explain her deficiencies in her system and no chance to ask a supplementary question, Mr. Speaker? Is that how we're going to run a PNQ?
Did you notice the way you asked your question? There was not even a question. It was a statement. Minister, continue.
Mr. Speaker, sir, what I'm trying to put forward is that we have a system which is trying to help and cater for all our learners. That these students who are finding it hard to complete the EP, the extended program, are students who had never received any support earlier. We have come up with a system providing support, and we are hoping and we know that as the years pass on, there will be fewer students in such situation. And we are working we're trying to ensure that each and every child, as we said, gets the right support, no one being left behind.
Mr. Speaker, are you going to give some additional time?
Do your work, I do my work.
Are you going to give some additional time? Because the minister has taken all the time at the moment.
Do your work, I do my work.
Okay, let's see how you do your work. The nation is watching you.
Nation watching you
The
also.
nation is watching you. Be aware of that.
Don't threaten, please. Don't threaten the speaker. You don't have the right to threaten a speaker.
I'm telling you, the
Apologize
nation,
for that.
I'm not apologizing.
If you are not apologizing, I will not allow you a question. Apologize
I will
first.
not apologize because the nation is watching you.
You don't have
You
the
should be
right
aware
to
of that.
threaten a speaker. You are threatening the speaker. You have to apologize. You decide.
I'm not apologizing. It is a fact.
And there is no question.
I will continue with my question. It is a fact
I
that the
will
nation
stop your
is...
mic. I will stop your mic. No question if you don't apologize. So, Madam Clerk, could you move to the next item? Prime Minister's question time. PQ 1654 will be replied by Dr. the Honorable Minister of Health and Wellness. Now call Honorable Itu.
B 1643. Thank you.
Et voilà donc pour cette séance de la PNQ, donc accès l'au National Certificate of Education avec Extended Programme qui est au cœur donc de la question du leader de l'opposition Xavier Duval qui fait une question ministre de l'Éducation, Lila David Dukan-Lutchman, il fait une demande est-ce qu'il pour abandonner Extended Programme et remplace par un programme d'études plus pertinent, plus approprié, qui peut examiner au bout de 3 ans à travers l'examen et un certificat NCE technique. Xavier Duval fait aussi demande ministre de l'Éducation pour préciser le nombre de candidats dans Extended Stream qui fait l'examen NCE l'année dernière, qui récomposer ça l'année-là et qui passer. Alors d'abord, la ministre de l'Éducation, Lila David Dukan-Lutchman, revient l'urban racine de l'Extended Programme. L'objectif, c'est assurer 12 ans d'études au primaire et au secondaire, dont 9 ans d'études de base obligatoires. L'idée que tous les élèves peine la même capacité et elle est nécessaire pour soutenir les élèves qui pas fin réussi PESAC. Et l'idée 71 élèves Extended Programme l'année dernière fin passe NCE. Et Lila David Dukan met l'accent aux efforts que les enseignants et que les parents font pour encourager les élèves. L'idée que dans certains sujets, les élèves finissent très bien faire. Par contre, 25% finissent passer en anglais. Et donc, la ministre de l'Éducation reconnaît que la force de les élèves, c'est pas nécessairement le plan académique. Ils reconnaissent qu'il peut-être y a une faiblesse dans certains sujets, mais qu'ils sont capables d'améliorer. Alors, concernant Extended Programme, toujours, l'idée qui qui pouvait avec un assessment mode, et ça finit déjà approuvé par le gouvernement, et pour donner les élèves Extended Programme plus support, ils finissent revient le Bright Up Programme, et qui pourront en vigueur l'année prochaine. L'idée que les élèves pour capables rejoindre NC2 et NC3. L'idée peine l'intention pour do away avec le programme actuel. Bizin complète l'éducation de base avant à de l'avant avec un programme technique. Alors concernant Extended Programme, finina 335 élèves qui fait l'année dernière qui fin réponse à l'examen NCE là et 54 fin réussi. Et Lila David Dukan peut maintenir qui pas capable abandonne Extended Programme, l'idée qui besoin donne les temps. Mais pour Xavier Duval, il peut maintenir que le système fin fait et qu'il n'a pas approprié. Lila David Dukan peut maintenir qui besoin donne les enfants une opportunité pas certificat. Et les élèves, les répéter que les élèves besoin l'éducation de base avant à apprendre l'eau nouvelle technologie et qu'accèdent au monde du travail. Elle dit qu'il est important qu'ils soient adaptés dans le monde qui peut évoluer. Et Xavier Duval fin protester les temps qu'il a accordé à ministre de l'Éducation pour continuer à répondre alors qu'il n'a pas gagné les temps pour poser une question supplémentaire et finina évidemment encore un clash entre le speaker et Xavier Duval, le speaker qui peut demander donc à Xavier Duval pour présenter son excuse parce qu'il dit que le leader de l'opposition fin menace Nawaz Nombex.
Oui, Président, malheureusement, c'est un débat très intéressant qui nous a gagné ce matin au Parlement entre le leader de l'opposition et la ministre de l'Éducation, mais un débat qui finit terminé d'une façon très brutale, d'une question de time management. Il est malheureux, alors qu'il m'a pensé, si et le leader de l'opposition et le speaker sont capables d'ajouter un petit peu d'élo, dans le divin, on va nous dire, peut-être nous sommes capables de gagner un débat beaucoup plus intéressant. Parce que le problème, c'est que Xavier Duval peut protester, c'est que Mme Dukan, il prend beaucoup de temps pour répondre, et speaker, il peut y aller, mais quand nous arrive la partie de questions supplémentaires, il nous reproche à Xavier Duval qu'il n'est même pas une pose question, il fait un statement. Au fait, c'est ça le débat. Parfois, on n'est pas obligé de poser une question à search, mais on est capable de mettre un argument Et le ministère pas le même dire, what is your question? Le ministère ne répond. Donc, malheureusement, donc, c'est une question d'approche. Hein. Vous pensez peut-être le speaker qui est capable d'une approche beaucoup plus flexible parce que c'est un sujet très important. Et comment vous dire, il y a un débat très intéressant. Madame la ministre peut répondre. Mais il y a une question de time management et surtout de manque de flexibilité. Et la PNQ finit bien terminée. Et le leader d'opposition, il finit vexé. Il dit, il n'est pas capable continue un PNQ comme ça, et speaker dit tant qu'il n'a pas apologize, il n'a pas présenté excuse, parce que le speaker pensait qu'ils avaient du val pour menacer, alors qu'ils avaient du val pour dire the nation is watching you. Donc le speaker finit pensant comme une menace, l'India présente excuse, sinon il n'est pas pour autorise le leader de l'opposition pose une question additionnelle. Moi, tout ça très très dommage, parce que, comment vous dire Priscilla, il y a un débat très intéressant. Le débat de ce matin, c'est, moi j'ai dit, c'est qui l'approche, ce qui regarde nous get extended programme. Xavier-Luc Duval peut être en termes chiffres, Madame Doucan peut être en termes philosophie. Personnellement, je pense que les deux ont raison. Xavier Duval peut dire que si nous prenons depuis Coro 2018-2019, 6477 élèves ils rejoignent extended programme. Dans ces 6477 là, 6214 in fail, 260 in passé. Si nous guettons en termes de chiffres, oui, c'est un échec total. Extended programme, c'est un échec total. Mais Madame la ministre, il peut dire qu'il ne faudrait pas nous bonner la question de chiffres, le certificat, parce qu'il peut dire que ces enfants-là, besoin de 9 years, 9 ans de continuous basic education, basic schooling. Ça, très important pour qui, quand je parle faire un métier, je suis capable de comprendre la technologie, comprendre science, et de dire qu'il y a un expert, dire que 80% d'un métier de demain pas qu'on même crée. Donc, tout ça prépare ça les élèves là. Maintenant, la question qui se pose, c'est-à-dire, avec du VAF, il pose la question. Si éventuellement, ça les élèves là pour faire la filière technique, mais qui fait fatigue avec NCE. D'ailleurs, il pose la question, est-ce qu'il est pour scrap extended programme et pour remplacer par un cursus qui est basé l'eau technique, un NCE Technical Examination. Mais Mme Doucan dit qu'il n'est pas capable de prendre un enfant à l'âge 10 ans, 11 ans, d'exercer dans une filière technique comme ça. Il dit à ces enfants-là, bien faire jusqu'à grade 9 plus, pour les comprendre technologie, pour les comprendre science. Et d'ailleurs, il dit à une élève pas de faire bien dans anglais, français, mais ils faire bien dans ICT, SMS, Social and Modern Studies. Donc, il dit à ces enfants-là, je dois dans les autres matières. Il est important que les autres fassent jusqu'à grade 9 plus. Et il dit que la filière technique qui évoluait, il est basé beaucoup plus sur la technologie. Et donc, ça va nous élèves-là, bien capables de comprendre. Il ne faut pas nous focus, nous faire une obsession, le combien d'enfants peuvent faire, le combien d'enfants pour gagner un certificat. Il dit que ça l'éducation, sa schooling, sa basic schooling qu'ils ont gagné là, est très important. Donc, mais avec Duval, sa grande préoccupation, c'est que la grande majorité peut faire, mais Mme Doucan dit qu'il est bien capable donne sa enfants-là confiance. Et il dit que, par exemple, le 335 qui réussit, 54 fin réussi. Alors, il dit, en temps normal, si pas un extended programme, le système, tu peux finir perdu sa enfants-là. Donc, il dit que même le taux est faible, c'est qu'il nous a guetté, c'est pas le nombre qui nous fait, mais le nombre qui est passé, même s'il est très faible, parce qu'en temps normal, tu peux finir perdu ça mène les enfants-là. Donc, Priscilla, ça vient, donc, moi, je pense les deux, quelque part, il a raison. Donc, c'est chiffres versus philosophie, mais malheureusement, finit un cheveu dans la soupe à la fin. Donc, le débat va encore continuer.
Mais c'est ici que nous vous prenons congé de vous, chers internautes. Merci beaucoup, Nawaz Nombucks, pour le compte-rendu. À suivre de larges extraits de la PNQ dans le journal de 13h avec Douchila Mansing.